Blinking is a subconscious process, and an average blink takes 100 to 150 milliseconds. Every hour we blink around 1200 times, and that means in a day 1 hour is wasted just blinking. That's 1 hour of total darkness where we don't see anything and use just our other senses like ears and skin. 1 hour of total darkness in a day. Also, an average person sleeps 8 hours a day, and adding, we can see that 9 hours is totally invisible for us in a day, and we can only perceive 15 hours in a day. But actually, blinking is really useful, and without blinking we would be totally blind. The main purpose of blinking is to provide moisture to our eyeballs right here, and dust particles from the outside world sit on our eyeballs, and that can irritate. Tears which come out when you cry actually contain fat, a bit of water. Most of it is only water. It also contains fat and mucus as a part of it. It contains a very harmful chemical known as lysosome. Not harmful for us. The chemical is really harmful for bacteria, as the lysosome can kill 90 to 95% of all bacteria, and that's really harmful for them. But the main purpose of tears is not to kill it. The main purpose of tears, as I told you, is to just clear out all the dust particles sitting on our eyeballs right here, as it can make us lose sharpness, and it can even damage our eyeball because they are really sensitive. Also, there is another secondary benefit of blinking. When we blink, our subconscious mind won't receive any information from our eyes, and it is just total darkness. During this time, even though it's a really small interval of time, which is only 150 milliseconds, even though it is such a small interval, in that time our brain actually subconsciously processes all the information it has received. From one blink to another, there is a time gap of 3 seconds. And you try to hold your eyes for 3 seconds, and very clearly everyone can do that. As I told you, blinking is a subconscious process, it's an automatic process, and this 3-second gap only exists when it happens automatically and you don't do it intentionally. If you kind of do it intentionally, then the gap is very longer. I mean, the world record for not blinking is 1 hour 5.61 seconds, and that's really long. That might have been very painful. Also, a fun fact here, babies blink less as compared to adults, and as a newborn baby cries, it actually doesn't release tears. It actually cannot release tears because the tear glands would not have developed. The lacrimal glands will not be developed in babies, and they just cry, they don't release tears. And after near 6 months, they develop those lacrimal glands and they can release tears. So it's 5 minutes 9 seconds since I started this video, and that means it is 320 seconds since I started this video. So that means since I started this video, I have spent 13.23 seconds just blinking. I mean, it feels like it's a long time, but the small interval and the regular blinking and the automatic thing makes it feel like it doesn't really exist. And okay, so what happens if you don't blink? Well, first of all, it would be a permanent damage to your eye. Please don't try this. And but still, if you do try this, first of all, it pains a lot, and it tries to close your it tries to blink automatically forcefully. And then even if you try to hold it by using your hands, or if you try to do any other external force like that, then you actually try to squint your eyes just a little bit, so that you don't actually blink, but you try to make the size smaller, and that also you release a lot of tears, so that whatever the dust particles that have accumulated on your cornea just flow out. Eyes lose sharpness as this happens because of the dust particles. Another mind-blowing fact here, when we are watching TV, we blink less because actually our subconscious mind syncs with whatever the content is being viewed. To make it more clear, in an experiment, some boys were made to sit in a room and watch TV, and their brains were recorded, and the brain activity was recorded, and it was seen that they blinked less. That was the first result, and the second result was really mind-blowing. The movie was being played there, and whenever there was scene changes, or whenever there was like less activity going on the screen, like someone moving out of a door and something random happening, and whenever there is what you call static, whenever there was static in the screen and not much of activity was happening or a transition was occurring, they that time they used to blink more, and the other time they were focused on the whatever they were watching. So that can give us a hint that our subconscious makes it automatic, and we try to blink only when there is not something that needs our attention a lot. Now, while our eyes are open, it receives a lot of information from the outside world and it gets transferred to the brain immediately, and the brain tries to process it, and so that we understand what is happening and we react to it accordingly. This keeps happening, and within certain intervals, whenever we blink, it's first of all, it's a really small interval of time. As I told you, it's 150 milliseconds, and that's this short, and within this fraction of time, your brain processes whatever was stored and whatever information was received subconsciously, this time paying more attention to background details. Now, while you are aware and you are conscious and you watch things, you pay more attention to the main things and the things that are more vivid and colorful and more straightforward. But subconscious process is a different thing. It's also what is used by advertisers to advertise their product. Our subconscious mind pays less details to foreground objects but more detail to background objects, and like background scenery and all. That's one thing that's used by advertisers. That means that if you try to not blink, or if you try to reduce your blinking time and try to hold your eyes, that would definitely damage your subconscious mind. So without the second layer processing, what you call subconscious processing of the information you received, which happens only when no external stimuli is being received, that is, you are completely blank and you are blinking or you have closed your eyes. Even this happens when you are sleeping. So that's it. And if you don't blink, you try to forcefully open your eyes for a longer time than usual, then you will reduce your subconscious processing time by a big factor, and that would cause a loss, and you would get you would lose interest in everything. That is, you would be, I can say, like a robot, and not completely, but it definitely damages a lot, because you don't get time to process things subconsciously. But this also makes us feel really powerful, because think about it, between two blinks, average time gap is 3 seconds. Whatever is being received in 3 seconds will get processed in just 150 milliseconds for a second time. That means it's really fast.